How y'all doing? It's me, Judge Lynn. I am firing on all cylinders today. Well, I don't take that back. I ain't firing on all cylinders. I really don't know about all of that, because we'll see as this session continues. But I woke up happy and poppy. I'll tell you that. Usually, I wake up kind of like, oh, here it is today. That was Mumford and I's favorite time, was in the morning. Ain't nobody up. We used to get up at the crack of dawn and we would sit outside and drink coffee. I miss that terribly. So in the morning, I just get up. I'm a little just a little hot about it, you know. And then yesterday, I heard James Taylor's "Fire and Rain," and I thought I was all right. I really did. But you got to realize that song was about a friend of his that died unexpectedly. Susan, the plans they made put it into you. I just woke up this morning and I wrote down the song. I can't remember who to send it to. And the lyrics are so beautiful. I just always thought I would see you again. And I liked James Taylor anyway. But I heard that yesterday, so that kind of that made me soupy. But somehow this morning I woke up and I'm just feeling like, well, everything's all right. You know, everything's all right, you know. Or if it's not, so what? You know, I could worry about it if I wanted to. But, you know, you worry about 97 things, only one of them's going to happen. So you've got 96 hours worth of worry time that has been wasted. I have started a new worry book. I already have something in there that makes me look so silly. I can't even tell you about it. I can't even tell you about it. I worried about something that was just so dumb. But anyhow, somebody asked me a question. And this was, I've had a few questions. Let me start with this one. The one I don't have written down, because otherwise, since this is written down, I have something to refer to. You know, I'm going to be 66 in about 12 days. No, 15 or so. 66. You know how you never thought that would happen to you? But it does. I should have eaten something because I hear my stomach. I had leftover Jersey Mike's this morning. I love Jersey Mike's. And yeah, I know I haven't gotten to the question yet. Just hang on. I'll be with you. First of all, I want to say I need to do some shout outs too, because some of you guys are so funny. You know, Pam and Rosa, you my friends, but there are people that I see all the time. There's somebody that keep giving these people good work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write a list of some of the people that I see all the time, because I appreciate your commentary. And let me get Jill and Joan all trusted up here, because you never know when one of them's going to get a bad idea. But anyway, the question that this person asked me is, what kind of rules did my mother, what kind of rules did Big E and I have? Did I show you my E ring? I don't know. I think I did. I am all over the place today. How did you two, Big E and you, do the, what rules did you have about social media and all this kind of stuff? And the answer is really a cheap answer on my part, because we were old, so we didn't know what it was anyway. I did Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all that kind of stuff, but that was for work. But he didn't do it at all. He just thought it was all gossipy, girly stuff, and he didn't understand it, and he didn't want to get involved in it. And she asked, did you guys have rules about passcodes on your phone? I said, I have a passcode on my phone, and I kept telling him, I think you should memorize the passcode of my phone or let me write it down so in case you need to get in my phone for some reason, you won't be able to get in. He didn't have a passcode. He didn't have passcode because he always wanted me to do something on his phone. Can you fix this or download that? And then the only reason we would get mad about passcodes is if I forgot his. And because I always set all of his stuff up. And then I tried to keep as close to this one password he liked. But sometimes they don't let you. They got to have an exclamation point. You got to have an uppercase, lowercase, whoop, wop, diddy dop. I can't remember all of that. And then he'd get mad. Well, isn't it just the same? No. Well, why did you? And then I'm like, but anyway, that was much ado about nothing. But anyhow, it was just the silliest thing. But anyway, we didn't have any rules about it, He didn't expect me to do anything wrong. I didn't expect him anything wrong. And I really believe. Ringing phone. Can't stand it. I never expected to be good news. Anyway, it wasn't bad news. It was just, yeah. So anyhow, got my hands all in my hair. So anyhow, we believed in defending our marriage from the inside out, not from the outside in. You don't let him go over here or don't let me go over there. We came into the middle and said, how strong can we make this sucker? I remember he took me to St. Croix and he said, look, he said, we were sitting on the beach. He said, this is what I want. This is what I need. What you thinking? This is what I want. This is what I need. And he goes, I'm not getting married again. I want this to be right. And this is how we're going to, how we're going to play this, how we're going to play that, how we're going to do the things. We talked about money and blah, 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 blah. Then we went to a marriage counselor. And that man predicted every problem we were going to have. I loved Willie. Oh, he was just great. But since we knew we were going to have him, we were ready for him. So if we were unhappy with each other people were not an option. That's kind of just the rule. And my mother also said, when I was giving him grief nonstop, in the early days about something. I don't know, I was on one about worrying about something. And my mother told me, he said, if you don't stop carpet bombing that man with complaints when he comes into the door, he's never going to want to come into the door. That door should be a place that welcomes him, that he wants to rush to come into. He don't want to come in and hear you have a whole lot to say about whatever. And that was very true. And then again, he didn't want to talk a whole lot at all about anything because he was a strong, silent type. But he figured out that he could just wait. He could just bob and weave in my words because I got a lot of them. She could just bob through them, just let him wash over him, and every once in a while show a sign that he's really paying attention because. He likes me. Well, he did. And we worked really hard at doing things that the other person likes. So it's not about how do you secure the outside. It is how you cement the inside. And you do it. We were the corniest people in town. We would have cooking contests, drinking coffee outside. He'd be sitting somewhere and I'd have my earphones on. He's talking on the phone and I'm dancing and I'm bothering him and putting my fingers all around him, and all that kind of stuff. We were a silly couple. But it keeps you laughing and moving. I knew a couple that used to have a divorce party every year. Every year, they divorced all the trouble that they had. They sat down and talked about everything that went. I just thought that was a divorce party. And they talked about all their issues and what they were going to do and how they were going to address them. And then after they did that, they had a party. They partied it out. And they were remarried the next month, the next, whatever. and they started out fresh and clean. I thought that was a great idea. I really did. I'm sorry, I was all over the place. Apparently, that has been a feature in the conversations I've been having with people. Oh no, I'm just, revved up this morning. Okay, it says, so my son has been wanting his 9-year-old daughter to live with him. His mother has he has broken so many parental rules, it's not funny. She moved my granddaughter to another state illegally, but my son didn't do anything about it. Now that he has her, I guess he brought her back. I'm not sure. She brought her back because she surrendered Get to my son. And I'm not quite sure what that means. She surrendered her to my son, I say, but she's trying to make it seem temporary. It's been over a year, but still paying child support. And I don't know who's still paying child support. Is your son still paying child support? And then you said, then here's the question. Here's the question. My question is, what can my son do to be removed from paying child support? He seems to be moving very slowly on this. My husband used to say to me, I used to always be doing for them. Well, let me do it. Or this was my big thing. I was always, I see a problem there. Or, I got to stop it because he's going to make a mistake there. And my husband, he would say, let him do it. He'll get hurt and he won't do it again. Nothing dramatic or anything. Yeah, go ahead, let him swing off that thing. And then he'd fall off and they would cry. And he'd say, bet you that hurt. That hurt, didn't it? Sir, I told you not to do it. That kind of, the machismo of a brand that is no longer popular, but I liked it when he did it because it was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, sexy or something. He ain't gonna do it no more. And I was never around boys a lot because I had a sister, and then I went to an all-girls school, in high school. When I got older, I was around a lot more, but I never been around young men. I always found it interesting how many, they wrestle. Sometimes I'll go outside, look at them, and they're on the ground just wrestling. I said, oh my God. He said, no, they're having fun. They're just wrestling. They're having a good time. I didn't know nothing about that. My tomboy days were up and down trees or riding bicycles. I didn't wrestle. So, I'm sorry, I didn't answer the question. They answered the question is as follows. He's got to make a decision to handle his life. He really, really does. And he has to make a decision that he's going to handle his life. And you can't handle it for him. There's no substitute. I actually saw on, I remember back, and it happens a lot. I remember back in in Cleveland Heights Community Court. There was this dude up there. He was like 46 years old, and his 70-some old year mother came toddling up there with him. I just wanted to, and then you gotta, what I would do, I would split the baby. Not literally, but what he needs to do is call an attorney who specializes in custody issues in your county and have a meeting. Give him the name, give him the number, and then tell him, you don't call, you don't get this ball rolling. I want to hear nothing about nothing. You do this. You do this. So I'd give him a little swift start. And if I was really mad about the child support, which I probably would be, I might make the first meeting and go with him. but I would not make a habit of holding his hand through it. That's all I got to say. I remember on Zoom court, some lady came instead of her son. And the judge was like, "You can't do that." She was floored and flabbergasted. I think her name was, I love her, Judge Webster. If you ever watch Zoom Court, watch Judge Webster. She will fuss. Oh, and she fusses just like me, just, I can tell you right now. And little Johnny got a problem, she's not overly, she enjoys the vernacular as much as I. There you go. I don't know what happened during this meeting, but I hope you all have a wonderful day.